want to stay for this story, for it is the scariest story in the universe. First things first, let me tell you something, brother. Oh, great start. This is not one of those typical creepypasta stories where I buy a haunted game and I'm just an idiot who plays it until they die or get cursed. No, this is just another one of those super defensive stories. I am not about that! Sure, this story is about me playing a cursed video game and getting cursed, but it's a true story which sets it apart from all the others. They may say they are true as well, but they are liars, and I'm not. So you can disregard every other story we've read. We're getting to the real truth here. And let's get another thing straight. Some of you might try to nitpick some odd things I do in this story, but you don't understand the horror I went through. Sometimes stress causes you to do strange things. Yeah, like write crappy stories, am I right? Now that that's cleared up, you probably shouldn't even read this story because it's too scary and true. Well, they got the first part right. You will never be the same after reading this. I know I wasn't. I mean, after I experienced it, not read it. Shut up. Strange, confusing words from the author there. It was a beautiful day outside, yet there was something deep, dark, and mysterious about how bright and sunny it was. Like the sky was a multi-layered character hiding some inner darkness. I knew immediately today would be a day to remember. But other than that, it seemed like a normal day and I said I should go buy some video games. Moron overanalyzes the sky and then decides to buy video games. Riveting stuff. I was alone at the time, so it was weird I said that out loud, but it was the stress of the weird day already getting to me, so shut up. Nothing better than a story that repeatedly tells you to shut up about criticizing it. I drove my scooter to GameStop, which took 5 minutes and 47 seconds. Oh boy. This was unusual because it should only take me about 3 minutes and 24 seconds to get there. Wow, buddy. I don't know where the extra time came from. It might have been an extra busy day, but it also might have been an evil vortex I fell into. It's hard to say. No, it's not. I entered GameStop, which is the same old boring GameStop you've seen a million times, but this one was different. It had a flickering light and seemed like there was an oppressing atmosphere in there. I said, what's with the oppressing atmosphere in here? The GameStop employees looked at me strangely. Could this be due to the curse? Yeah, sure, the curse of being an idiot. Or maybe it was because I was yelling weird things in the store. No, wow, this guy is smart. But then again, it was probably due to the strange sky and being cursed. I asked where Dave was. Dave was my buddy who worked at GameStop and sneak me games sometimes. I wish I had someone who sneaked me games sometimes. No, it's not illegal because he worked at GameStop, so it was okay. I didn't know that's how it worked. They said, Dave's not here, man. My blood immediately went cold. How am I going to get employee discounts if my friend isn't working? This isn't fair. This was the curse for sure. Being forced to pay full price for games breaks this guy. Stupid sky, I said loudly. An employee then asked me to stop yelling or I'd have to leave. I looked game the games. That's really impressive. I've never managed to look game the games. Which were all boring because I played everything and I'm pretty much a pro gamer. I always be fragging them noobs, lol. Ugh. But I saw a game on the floor in a puddle. There aren't usually puddles in GameStop, I noted in my journal. Oh, this guy's got a journal. I guess that explains this stupid, boring story. I picked the game out from the yellow fluid, and it seemed to be a PlayStation game for PlayStation 1. I was terrified beyond all rational thought. Why is there a regular PlayStation game at GameStop? Regular PlayStation games at GameStop? This really is the scariest story in the universe. I quickly moved past that to examine the game. It said Silent Hill. Oh, I've heard about this, I said. A woman gave me a strange look. Could she have known about the curse? Yeah, the curse of your presence. If you know Silent Hill, you know what the game looks like, so I shouldn't have to explain it to you, but this wasn't normal. It looked pretty normal, but it wasn't. It lacked the PlayStation logo in the corner. I dropped the game immediately. Why wasn't there a PlayStation logo? Look, buddy, you best stay away from the PlayStation logos. It said Konami, but not PlayStation. This was too weird. I stood there frozen for 2 minutes and 67 seconds. This guy probably counted every one of those seconds out loud. Eventually, I picked the game back up, but immediately dropped it again when I saw some weird text under the title Silent Hill. It was like nothing I'd seen before. Is this some kind of a test? I yelled. This is your last chance to stop causing a scene in the store, Dave said. Dave? I thought you weren't here, I said. I'm not really, Dave said. I gotta go to lunch, Dave said. Okay, I said. Said, Dave said. But our new employee can help you buy your game. Oh, for the love of useless. Dave said as he left to not be here. I wish I could do the same. This new GameStop employee was a strange old man. Who had a look of someone with many skeletons in their closets. I tend to pick up on these things that most of the normies out there wouldn't. Yeah, regular Sherlock Holmes, this guy. The old man said the rest of his family had recently died in a fire. Welcome to GameStop. Get over that one quick. If anything, I could say this old man was rare, but I thought, nah, forget it. One game, please. The old man looked at my choice of game. His face went white and dropped it to the ground. I picked the game back up, but immediately dropped it again. The back of the game was not how it was supposed to be at all. It didn't say mature anywhere, and that weird text was back. I picked the game back up, but immediately dropped it again onto the counter to buy it. Ah, what a twist. This game is cursed, the old man said. We bought it from a ghost. Wow, buddy, might be time for retirement. This was my first clue that anything was wrong with the game, but I figured it'd be okay. That's weird, I said, sort of chuckling to put the old man at ease. My chuckling seemed to only increase the old man's anger. I get a discount because of the curse, right? I said. Begrudgingly, the old man gave me 21.5% off the game. Yes! I yelled. Copy that, Dave said as he made me leave the store. The weirdest thing though was I thought I saw the old man evilly smile at me as I was escorted away. Yeah, I'm sure most people just smile when you leave their presence. I could tell you about my drive home, but I shouldn't. I got home and was really excited to play my new game, even though I was pretty familiar with Silent Hill. I'd never played it before or watched any footage of it. Oh yeah, you sound like an expert. Maybe you should make a YouTube video telling me all the things I never knew about Silent Hill. I opened the case for the game and immediately dropped it to the ground. Clearly Really, the scariest thing in this story is this guy's inability to hold on to anything. The disc wasn't normal at all. It's supposed to have a little girl on it with black text, but there was no little girl on here at all. It was all blank except for red text which said Silent Hill! Silent Hill! I yelled, much like the movie I haven't seen. Under the evil blood red text of Silent Hill was that weird language I didn't understand again. Why couldn't I read this text? It just didn't make no sense at all. I picked the game back up and immediately dropped it into my PlayStation 2. Some real fake outs with this guy. It's good stuff. PlayStation 2s can play Player Station's games, just FYI. Well, I wouldn't know anything about that. I've never had a Player Stations. I had bought this PlayStation 2 from a creepy old woman at a yard sale, and it's probably cursed. That's a story for another time. I'll be waiting with bated breath. I pulled out my stopwatch and waited for 4 minutes and 18 seconds. I was stressed. That's why I counted the time. It's not weird. It's almost like this guy knew I would say that was stupid. The screen was just black, like my soul. I was terrified beyond rational thought. Is this some kind of test? I yelled. I eventually realized that the TV wasn't on. Oh, wow. Before you yell at me for being stupid, just remember, I am not. I'm a very smart gamer, and I know my TV was on first. The cursed game had to have turned it off. This is far from normal, I said nervously to break the tension. What? To who? I picked the controller up and immediately dropped it to the ground. You have a real problem, you know that? The title screen said load and continue on it, but I hadn't played this game before. Or had I? I was terrified beyond rational thought. I thought we already established that. After waiting some time, how long isn't important, I started the game. Well, that's refreshing, I guess. There was a cutscene that plays, which lasted 2 minutes and 15 seconds, about your character you play as driving and almost hitting a girl on the road. WTF! Once I finally had control, the game started living up to its name, being a nice and quiet time in the town of Silent Hill. Finally, I can relax, I said loudly. Yes, screaming at your games loudly sounds like a real relaxing time. But just as soon as I had control of the things around me, it was taken away as my character herded some footsteps. Yeah, you probably herded a lot of things, haven't you, buddy? Not very silent in Silent Hill, I hilariously said. Note, I'm the funny one in my friends group. Not very hard when it's a friends group of one. My first mission in the game was to chase a little girl. I immediately dropped the controller to the ground. This is not normal, I said. What is my character? Some kind of predator? This was a half joke, mind you. I am a pretty witty gamer. Yeah. At this point, all the snow falling was beginning to bother me. Snow? At this time of year wasn't normal, even in video games. What? I followed the little girl into an alley. It was nice and quiet until I got to a gate which said, "Beware of dog." I immediately dropped my controller to the ground. Can it be broken yet? Man, you suck. How did this game know I used to have a dog? It was like it was peering into my soul. Blood started to drip from my forehead, but upon checking, it was just sweat. I pressed the X button on the controller to go through the gate. On a lot of PlayStation games, X is the button you press for actions like this, just FYI. Yeah, this story should go on GameFAQs. It's got a lot of helpful hints in here, doesn't it? After feeding fade to black for the longest 3 seconds of my life. The screen returned to show a bunch of hyper-realistic blood with what probably used to be the dog. I immediately dropped the controller to the ground. I can't handle this, I said loudly. Yeah, that might be something I say loudly soon. This game knew. They knew my dog had died. Well, he didn't really die. He bit my neighbor and we had to give him to the police, which was almost the same as death. Was your dog arrested? I don't understand. This game was messing with me. I knew it. Just then, I noticed composting containers. I had composting containers before. This was just too much for me. I cried for 45 seconds. Well, you know what they say, don't cry over composted milk. Once I had regained my composure, I remembered the old man laughing at me as I was leaving GameStop. Could this be his master plan? Was he the curse? Yeah, sure, let's go with that. Just then, I heard sirens, much like the sirens when the police came for my dog. I shut the game off for 32 minutes and 55 seconds. I knew I couldn't play it anymore because I was being driven insane and it was killing me. But it was also killing me not knowing what would happen next, so I turned the game back on. Another smart gamer here, folks, and witty too. After getting back to where I was, primitive games without autosave to my right, I advanced down the alleyway and it got darker. Just then, I noticed it was getting darker outside my window too. No! I said loudly. Don't get me wrong, night had happened to me plenty of times in the past, but it felt different this time. Probably because his nightlight burnt out. I know I should have just turned the game off. The old man's words, "This is a game from hell," kept ringing through my head. He had said that earlier, by the way. No, did you just forget to put that in your story? Couldn't go back and fix that? Just then, my character lit a match and said, "Better than nothing, I guess." "Yeah, right," I said. He's the funny one in the friend group. The camera started moving in strange directions. I knew this was not normal, but figured it had to be some kind of a glitch and kept playing. I saw a wheelchair. How did they know? Note, I saw someone in a wheelchair on my way back from GameStop. Oh, wow, that's a real connection, and we're just adding it now. Brilliant. The music was getting more and more tense and loud. This was anything but Silent Hill anymore. I knew this couldn't be how the programmers intended this game to go, though this might have something to do with the evil group trying to cover up suicides at Konami, but that's a story for another time. What? The alley got weirder and weirder. The walls turned into hyper-realistics, barbed wire, and steel grating. Just then, my character saw a hyper-dead body on the wall, and children with knives attacked me. I immediately dropped my controller to the ground and proceeded to slip on it, smashing into my PlayStation, shutting it off. We're apparently ending the story just as clumsily as we started it. The game had attacked me. I wasn't safe, but I was safe now. I was the lucky one. The only soul this game had taken was my PlayStation's, but I was just lucky. There's a lot to unpack in that sea of stupid of a sentence. I will never play Silent Hill ever again, especially not that cursed edition. Why don't you up that to never play anything ever again? And hell, while we're at it, why don't you never write a damn story again?